My name is Alexa Lizotte and I'm a Métis artist. I come from a place called North Vermilion Settlement. It's just across the river from Fort Vermilion, Alberta, which is about 8 hours north of Edmonton. North Vermilion Settlement is also known to locals as Buttertown, and it is where my dad grew up traditionally and where my grandparents lived and all of my family on his side. This project is really important to me because it's telling the story of the strength of our people. The reason I started dyeing with vegetables was because I heard this story that we used to dye porcupine quills with berry juice. So that was kind of just going in my, just running around in my mind. And then I had Indigenous person come to me and say they wanted a ribbon skirt, but they wanted it to be 100% from the land. And so that was kind of how this project got started. And I did some research on the internet today, and I took all of this combined knowledge of traditional history and story, but also today's methods of research. And I just tried to experiment the best I could. And so I learned what different fruits and vegetables could make different colors, and I just kind of ran with it. And I was given this really beautiful purple cauliflower. It was so bright, and then some beets. And so I was like, okay, this is perfect. This was locally grown, and it's just time. And I had the cotton ready, so I just went for it that night. I just dove into the project. Yeah, it's really special to be able to dye some ribbon skirts using natural dyes, and it's helped me so much through the empowerment of my nation. I'm so grateful to Métis Nation of Alberta for giving me a voice and a platform, because they've actually been a huge reason for me diving into this project. They gave me the voice to speak at one of their climate change speaker series, and it gave me the time and the opportunity to dive into fabrics and the harm that they have on our planet today. And I had no idea, before I did this project, I had no idea the carbon footprint that existed from fabrics that are made of plastic like polyester. And I was able to do this research and learn about the natural fibers like cotton and linen that makes such a huge difference versus polyester, which is filled with plastic and takes up to 200 years to decompose. Being able to sew a skirt that is coming 100% from the land and using dyes that are not harming our waters is so special to me, and gives me the opportunity to again connect with my history and who we are as a people. It's really special because I didn't grow up in my community, and that was really hard for me. I didn't have like family or community to connect to during hard times, and I grew up not really understanding who I was and not understanding the culture that really was in my blood. My dad grew up traditionally, but he didn't want his children to grow up that way. So when I first started sewing, I moved back to my community in 2020, and I was learning to sew there, and I started having people call me Little Ella, which is my grandmother's name, who I only got to meet once. And they were calling me that because they said that she was known around the community for being able to sew without a pattern, and it would just come out perfect. Like, she didn't have to measure or anything, it would just always come out good. And so they were seeing my sewing and my work, and they started calling me Little Ella because they said that was like, I was just like her. And so that is kind of that's a big reason of why I continue to sew today, because I feel like I have her with me, even though we didn't get to spend time together in the physical world. I feel like she is with me a lot, and she pushes me to keep going and do this journey of using my voice and speaking.